Hey everybody, Drew here, and I am absolutely honored to show you guys this beautiful 1994 Nissan Gloria. It's the much less common Brougham version rather than the Gran Turismo, so it's pretty unique here in the United States. It's only been stateside for a couple weeks, and it's in showroom condition, inside, outside, underneath, and everything, with just a few tiny flaws, which we'll go over. It's got 42,971 kilometers on it, which is roughly 26,000, 27,000 miles, somewhere in the middle, and it has the bulletproof VG30E motor. So that's not the twin turbo one that came in the 300ZX. It's naturally aspirated. It's more than enough power. We'll go over that when we drive it. It has, you know, similar power to this era's larger V6s like the Nissan Maxima and your Infinitis and Lexuses and things like that. Probably a little bit more power than a Lexus ES300 from this era, less than an LS400, probably closer to the LS400. It has the extremely desirable 5-speed automatic transmission, which makes this car an epic highway cruiser. It rides like a dream. It's insanely low RPMs at highway speeds, and it has the absolute best power steering. We've had two of these Glorias. It has the best power steering of, I think, any car I've ever driven, except for like 1960s and 50s luxury cars. So as far as flaws, we're gonna go over all of those. Nothing whatsoever to speak of on the hood, except maybe there's a little tiny chip right there. The wheels, by the way, these are basket weave wheels. These are absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion. Of course, it's not my car once you buy it, so if you want to lower it and put wheels on it, you know, by all means. The tires have plenty of life left. I believe they have a little flat spotting, which is common with a vehicle that's, you know, 29 years old and has 26,000 miles on it. You could feel, not necessarily feel, but hear a little bit of a resonance from the back, which again, I believe is some flat spotting in those tires. These wheels are stained, but these stains will absolutely come off. It's a Rochester winter, and we have very few dry days. I wanted to take it out and show you guys the car. Brakes are great. Tires are great, wheels are stained, and absolutely could be brought back to pretty much brand new condition, having done it myself before. Nothing to speak of on this side of the car, except there is 1-2 chips that looks like somebody touched up in Japan. Again, wheel stain. Other than that, the back is the only place there's a little bit of imperfection. So there's this tiny little chip right here, which looks like it's been touched up, and there's this scuff and this scuff, which I think I can buff out. No promises, but you can't feel them, you could only see them. A little scuff right there. There's a tiny ding, which is going to be impossible to show you guys. There's a little scuff on top of it, but the ding, being on a dull day like today, to give you an idea, the ding is probably the size of the head of a pin, and its entire shine, its entire disturbance in the light reflection is smaller than my pinky nail. So very minor there, but of course have to mention it. Underneath is absolutely incredible. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but underneath the paint is literally still black. There's absolutely not even surface rust under there, which is incredible. It is from Yokohama, Japan, and on the occasion they do get snow there, they don't do anything about it. They don't plow, they don't salt. It's a very rare occurrence, and it's usually a dusting, and it would be like if there was a dusting in northern Florida here. It is what it is. It'll go away in a day. Stay home or risk it kind of thing. So this car has never been exposed to salt. Of course, it's been in Rochester for the last couple weeks, but only taken out on dry days like today. The power antenna is broken, which the radio, which we'll go over in some depth, because I want to explain to you guys your options for this severely dated and lacking radio. As it stands right now, with an FM transmitter plugged into a cigarette lighter, even with the antenna broken and gone, I saved the pieces. You hear it just fine, and to me the car looks better. If I would never break the paint on a car like this, but you could almost shave that all together and not have it. But yeah, you know, you don't want to break the paint on this car. Absolutely perfect along this side here. These are a little bit of water stains that happen just from sitting, which will come right off. The chrome mirror caps, the roof, the rain guards, everything is just absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to show you guys under the hood and in the trunk. There was some really weird accessories that came with this car, which I want to go over with you guys, and some of that's in the trunk, so we'll go back there. But first, we'll look at the powertrain, power plant, I should say, which again is the naturally aspirated 3-liter. It is more than enough for me. Again, you know, having driven, I dailied back in the day, a 2002 Lexus ES300. This is substantially more powerful. I'd say it's similar to the Lexus LS400, definitely less. I mean, for normal driving, very similar. When you hammer it, the Lexus is much more powerful than this with its V8. But just for, you know, putzing around town, it's about similar to that 4-liter. Definitely more than Toyota's 3-liter of the era. It's comparable to a VVTi 2JZ, which we've had a bunch of Crowns like that. It's a lot more powerful than my wife's non-VVTi 2JZ, which you've probably seen some videos on this channel of that car. So again, it's 3 liters. It's a little dusty under here. I didn't want to, you know, hose it off or do anything like that. I'll leave that to you guys. Or if you want me to, I can, and make all this plastic, you know, shine like it's from the showroom. A little bit of tears in the insulation here. And again, it has the super desirable, not sure if you can read that, let me try to zoom in here. It has the RE5 R01A, which you can Google is a 5-speed automatic, which takes this car from, you know, a nice collector vehicle, you know, decent around town driver, to an absolute highway cruiser. It is awesome. Very, very low RPMs. So I'm going to show you underneath. And by the way, it'll come with a full synthetic oil change, which we're probably going to do soon here. So in the trunk, here is a parking pole that came on the car. I would not recommend putting this back on because I took off the protective stuff that stopped it from scratching the paint, but it was on right here. As you can see, there's no drama there, but there is little marks in the seam filler, which is what this is. This is a factory applied, like almost like a caulk, and the screws put indentations there. No big deal, but I wanted to include it in case you do want it. These rubber things and these antennas, this is the crazy thing. So it had the antennas stuck onto the windshield, the back windshield here. By the way, these curtains are original and they come with it. And those rubber tracks had the wires come in, and then they went underneath. I took off the weather strip here and pulled them through because, you know, they were underneath the weather strip, which, as you can see, they are no longer underneath. They're in plastic clips on the panel underneath it. That was on both sides, and these antennas were huge. One of them would come straight out to almost the back of the windshield or past it, like way out here, and then another one would come at an inward angle, and they would almost touch and make like a letter W. If you were looking like down on the car, it would be like this. And that was for this extremely, I think it's cool, but I definitely thought it was ugly enough to take off. So I want to show you guys the car, as pretty as it could be. This really dated Japanese GPS. So the screen is messed up on it, and it's saying that it doesn't work because it's missing a CD-ROM, but I don't see where there's a place to put a CD-ROM in it. So definitely cool. The only thing it did leave behind, if this is how it was connected to the vents are fine. They weren't hurt. There was these little clips to hold the wire, which this glue, it should come off. I'm not going to touch it because it's very, very minor. You wouldn't see it unless I pointed it out. But I don't want to risk damaging this big vinyl piece here. So selling the car as is in that regard, and you could mess with that if you'd like Goo Gone or isopropyl. But, you know, like I said, it's extremely minor. And it would be an absolute tragedy to ruin this piece, you know, just to try to get off, which you can barely see. So there is a little bit of warpage behind this. So like from sitting in the car, you can't see it, but if you were like outside looking through the windshield, this groove here has a slight imperfection in it, which is common in Nissans from the era. We actually imported a 95 Nissan Laurel, and in Japan it showed pictures that it came with brand new door skins because of that, and they actually threw them away at the port, which is just devastating because they don't let you import cars with stuff in them usually. It did come with this cool JDM cup holder that was in the vent, which, yeah, that's handy, but I don't want to let that vent get broken on my watch. That cassette tape's mine and doesn't come with it. It works, it sounds great, which is crazy. You know, for what it is. This is the Japanese tolling system, and that's intact. When you get in the car and start it, it says something every time. I'm not sure what it says. Probably something to do with the fact that you know, that you're way out of range or that you don't have a card in it or something like that, but it's cool. It kind of greets you in Japanese. So like I said, this sounds great for what it is. It is extremely lacking to just about anybody's taste today. So your options are pretty cool. This is a double DIN unit here, so there's 1 DIN, 2 DIN, and you could take this out and put in any 2 DIN touchscreen, whatever you want. There's these relatively inexpensive Bluetooth ones, and they have a big screen. You could load a custom logo, so you could put that super cool Nissan Gloria logo in there or something like that, which is the bird on the hood. I'll show you right there. So, you know, you could put that logo on it, whatever. What I would do, if it was my car, to keep it original, is grab the wires. This probably uses a standard Nissan wiring harness. Grab the wires that would normally go to the speakers and put them into an equalizer, like a digital. It converts it to a digital signal and lets you equalize it and get like a perfect output. And then that would have RCAs out to a 4-channel amp, where you could put in upgraded door speakers from today's, you know, specifications, to get great highs, and then that 4-channel amp could have a 2-channel output to, you know, like maybe a single 10-inch sub in the trunk or something, and this would sound phenomenal but look original. There's also a way to grab the where the cassette deck signal goes into the motherboard of the radio. There's like a common negative and then a left positive and a right positive. You can grab that, make it a 3.5 millimeter jack behind the dash, where you would put in a hardwired Bluetooth receiver. So you can literally turn this into an absolutely killer Bluetooth stereo and keep it totally original, which is awesome. Like I said, have a tape in there. It works great with the FM transmitter that I have from Amazon. You can get one from Japan and set it to a signal frequency that's below ours. This radio goes from like 76 to 90 AM. We go from like 88.7 to 107.9 or something here in the US. So those are your options. Again, this has the 5-speed automatic, which is awesome. To walk you through the inside of the car here. So there's no imperfections whatsoever, other than there's a slight bit of discoloration on this seat. And what I believe that is it probably had doilies at some point, which were seat covers, lacy seat covers that covered the top of the seats, but not the bottom. And, you know, you would never know it, but this is slightly discolored compared to this. And that's probably because the top was covered its whole life and the bottom wasn't. The carpeting is perfect. There's a little stain right here, which I got most of the way out. I'll show you guys in the back. One of the things I love about this car, by the way, is we open and close doors, is it's like, kind of reminds me of like a Mercedes from the 80s. It's just, just everything is so tight and crisp. Back seat is perfect. These lights both work. I shut that one off, by the way, because my kid turned it on and it almost drained the battery to death. So it's off manually, which I'll show you that works. Carpets, again, are perfect. There is one, which I'll show you what I mean there, how great that closes. There is one stain in the back, which I'm very certain I can get most of the way out. That's going to be a bit of a tough stain, but like I said, I should be able to get it out. No promises, but I just wanted to point out that it's there. I've done it in the past. There's actually a video here on YouTube of how I do it. Again, back of the car. Yeah, so there you go. So this car absolutely had doilies at one point. I did not know that was there. So this proves that the top half of all the seats from about probably here up had doilies, and it's a shame they're gone. You probably find some on Japanese auctions, which if you buy the car, I'll explain to you how to do all that. Again, this light does work, so I guess I didn't turn it off. Passenger side is perfect as well. As you can see here, it's got metal Gloria logos. They're just absolutely wonderful, wonderful car. It gets a lot of compliments. We've had a bunch of people over through the holidays and everything that aren't even really into cars, that just are like, wow, what's that car in your driveway? And it's like, hey, that's a Nissan Gloria. Oh, I've never heard of one of those. It's like, wow, that's because they didn't sell them in the United States. People get really, really excited about this car. So it has some other cool features too. It's got an electric emergency brake, which you actually press a pedal down on the floor, but this is how you release it, which anyway. So I'm going to take you guys for a ride. As I said, this car drives like brand new, and with 26,000 miles on it, it should. I'm going to zoom out here. The steering is exquisite. It's literally one finger steering, but it's tight and responsive at speed. It's incredible. It almost reminds me of like an American 60s car. You know, in parking lots, it's just effortless, so smooth. Feels like the front wheels are jacked off the ground, but again, it's responsive at speed. So I'm not really going to get on it. As you can see here, it's plenty powerful. Taking about 3,000 RPM shifts there, and it's more than enough. We'll get up to highway speeds. I'm taking my hand off the wheel here. Steering wheel is, I guess, a tiny bit crooked. As you can see there, it's tough because this isn't a straight road. It drives perfectly straight, but the steering wheel's off a tiny bit, so you might want to get an alignment. So right now we're going about 70. I'm going to get on the brakes. As you see here, it does not pulsate or anything like that. Very smooth, and to get some more speed, I'll get on it a little bit. So, you know, you can tell it doesn't have variable valve timing or anything like that, but it's got more than enough power. You know, my hope for this car, if I was keeping this car, which the longer I have it, the more I consider keeping it. If I was keeping this car, it would stay bone stock. It's got more than enough power for me. You could put 4 or 5 adults in this car and drive it, you know, in traffic, modern traffic today. I'm sure the twin turbo version is a lot more powerful, but it's also a lot less reliable and a lot more money. So, anyways, I just wanted to take you guys for a ride, walk you around the vehicle. If you are watching this and it says for sale in the title, this vehicle is available. I thought it's such a beautiful vehicle. I'm not going to take down the video when it does sell. Leave it up for people to see and experience, but I'll make sure I change the description and the title accordingly. So if you're interested in this vehicle, feel free to reach out. You can do so in the comments, and we will connect and get it to you. So again, I'm Drew. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if it is, if you like the car, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel, because we do import quite a few vehicles per year, and I try to always showcase the ones that are special like this. So again, I'm Drew. Thanks. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care.